everybody. That time has come again. Retro development time. Is it still on the ZX Next? For the foreseeable future. I thought I'd take a look today at Supertiles, Metatiles. I wanted to make the level more interesting in our Ghosts and Goblins game. Or Ghouls and Ghosts. Whatever the hell it's called. But with the tiles we already have, it's pretty hard to make a nice level. So unfortunately, we're going to be looking at doing some art, I'm afraid. I've made some headway. And yes, this is all I've done. But I've had a thought about this, right? I thought, I should quickly show how I got these sprites, because they're all perfect size. And notice, there's lots of emulators that will do this, but I'm using one that's designed for retroachievements.org. It's made by the developers of that. It's very similar to RetroArch, but as you can see, like, it's not a fancy UI or anything. Anyway, the long story short, it's doing a 1:1 scaling. So I've got it as size 1. And then core settings, uncorrected. And then I know, it's weird how it does them bars like that, but when you print a screenshot, which I've got set to S on my hotkey, it's always exactly right, the tile size. And I've tried that on several games, different consoles. So that was just a little tip for anyone who wants to get some of their own graphics. And it does help you learn, like, you know, you're looking at tiles here and you can actually see they're using Metatiles, you know. They've got 8x8 tiles like everybody else. But you can see they're in groups of like, what, 16 or... I've decided my Metatiles are going to actually be this shape, like an oblong. And it's purely to accommodate with this bit of grass here. I'm noticing that's one cell out on the top. I've actually fixed that. I'm using this one. So as you can see, we need to get that actually. We haven't got both of them. I've got them already. But if everything else I can fit into a 16 tile, super tile. But then I realised if I wanted to do this bit they've got here, I'd have to have loads of transparent here. So it seems logical to have 4x2. You probably also notice I've gone for different graphics. I looked at Ghouls and Ghosts. The map was more simple and like, I think this looks a bit better, you know, it stands out. There's a bit more to take from it. A bit more to, well, yeah, rip or steal. So let's pop that in there. It doesn't really matter how I lay it out right now because I'm probably going to move it all about later. Emook already showed us how we can define solids. We don't have to have them all in the same order or anything. You know, like the way I like to do it was to have them all the solid stuff in one. You know, in a line at the start of the tiles sheet. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to point out. Let's put this into window size 4 for a sec. Now, if we take a look at this game, you see that background layer? It's just a still image. So the tile sheet, ignore the plants there. But if you ignore them plants, there's very little tiles going on there. You see? So what I've got here is actually like almost all the level, if you actually think about it. Now it does have later on, if I can get there without dying. No. Oh no, I'm not gonna get there. God, it's longer than I thought. Here, look, this dinosaur. Now that must be a tile map as well. And I did take some screenshots of it, but I done it in the wrong emulator. It wasn't to scale, so I couldn't be bothered by the end of it. But that would be quite a lot of tiles there. Good evening, Specky Nut, my dude. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to try and make some Metatiles. I've got it in my head exactly how it's going to work, but there's one complication that I can't exactly picture how I'm going to get around, but I'll have to wait and see. But what I was trying to show there was what we've got here is actually pretty much enough to make the level. We'd have to have a background layer that was looking a lot like those mountains. In fact, I'll probably make that now, just a very quick version of it. In fact, I'll just copy a cloud out and copy that in a few times. Yeah, right, yeah, I'd love it if I made that. Funny how that doesn't quite fit into... well, that just proves they're not using a tile sheet. Look, it's like 1 pixel out from the tile. But tiles have nothing to do with this bit anyway. Let's just sort it out so that we can know exactly what, if it's scrolling or whatever, if we want to use it later. It's only a rough guide. That'll do. Okay, so we can basically, if you picture this having mountains in it and stuff, we can basically make a whole level like this now, if we use our brains. Just using this. I think so anyway. There's some edge. I haven't worried about the edges of these platforms. They're just straight at the moment, but I guess I could do that now, can I? Let me have a look here. One, two, three, four. Okay, so that's got the transparent bit on the top one. Oh yeah, I didn't put, there's no scaling on for sure. It's 100% 8x8. The only thing is, when you move the character in the game, of course, it starts scrolling pixel by pixel. So once you've moved it, you've got to shift it when you. If I take a screenshot now, I sometimes have to shift it to the left and right, and the same for up and down. If I've jumped, sometimes it scrolls up. But, I mean, there's a good one right there. I could take a screenshot of that. I believe it takes a screenshot in JPEG actually, but I've never had it any of the wrong scale. Yeah, so I'm just doing a bit of a mess around here because I'm a bit scared of doing the coding right now. If we look here, that's funky, look. And it is in game actually, or at least in the emulator. But this is what I was saying about you have to shift it to the left and right. So that here is what I've already got, isn't it? Here, it's the same. Oh, I don't know actually. Oh. I'd say this will be alright. Let's move all this along. It's crazy. It'd be so much better just to draw your own, really. It wouldn't be that hard to draw this stuff, I don't reckon, if you knew once you got going. I think this is particularly nice graphics though myself for 16-bit era. One, two, three, four, 6, 7, 8. Oh. We can certainly work with this stuff. Trick or treat, Micro, how you doing, mate? Adult trick or treaters. Yeah, COVID, not allowed out. Yeah, it's chucking it down here too. Kind of showed them the free safety. Awesome, yeah. Did they work? Did they enjoy it? Yeah. What a shame all your work went into the chair. And then everyone stayed at home. Whoa. Something's gone on with the zoom in, but... So we have to think about the size of our Metatiles. I believe that you can't mix and match sizes. Well, I certainly can't think of a way. So it looks to me, and unfortunately, like we want tiles that are only 2 by 2. So unfortunately. At first I thought I could get away with having them that big, but because of this exact bit here. Really, that's crazy. It's horrible here. Who knows, man? It's crazy. Okay. I deliberately left this tile blank because I remember having a problem with that tile before. This pink here, magenta, whatever you want to call it, it's 255 0255. I've had a problem with this before where it doesn't register as exact magenta in the system, but 32 by 32. Yeah, but like I say, if we have 32 by 32, how do we do this? That's the edge of a platform. It all depends on your graphics, to be honest, on your assets. If I wanted to make it 32 by 32, yeah, I'd have to copy some of this into that. I would like to make it 32 by 32. It of course reduces your flexibility down of how the tiles can be laid out. I think 16 by 16, you know, the only way. Either that, or like I say, I have to copy some of the images will be copied. For example, we'd have to have 2 extra of these. It makes it a lot more less flexible, doesn't it? Because look at this down here. We'd actually have to have an edit there. If we have 16 by 16, it's still a bummer no matter what way we do it. It's still going to be really tricky to make it look good. We're not super limited on that, no. But it's a shame to do these metatiles and then only save. I suppose you're still saving like 3/4 of this amount of space. It's going to reduce the space down to 25% of what it was, isn't it? It's used to store a map. Let's try it. So I'll just go back in time there. Like I say, I've deliberately left this one empty. These are actually all solids. Well, no, they're not. These aren't, are they? A lot of them aren't, actually. You only want, like, this one line to be solid, really. Yeah, but how do you do it? How do you do 8 by 8 if you're already using metatiles? That's my question. because this is only a way I've dreamt up to do the Metatiles. But oh, that's still open. Whoops, I'm having a problem seeing stuff. There we go. So I've done very little coding over the last couple of days. Check where I am. I forgot about that ghost there. Oh, I remember now. I needed to add like a delay, like a movement speed control to them. But we've been able to add a bigger level. I'd like to know how to mix and match the sizes. That would be good. Yeah, exactly. What we're doing is we're breaking them up. We're joining them. So we'll define each tile. It's a bit of a bummer working in an existing project. Load bins. So I need to create a new tile definition asset. I'm just trying to think of if there's a way to use what we've got here, not this, the tile map here, to create some meta tiles, but it's a pain because I don't know how they're laid out. The use of binary to shift the tiles. Which video are you talking about? The NES 40k game? I've seen that quite a few times, yeah. But if you notice, it suits his assets, his graphics drawings are designed for that. You know, he designed them. There's several like blocks that are like just square blocks that fit into 16 tiles, you know. But I didn't watch it fully. Like I didn't see whether he mixed and matched. What would be great would be to have a 32 by 32 like that for the majority, and then at the edge just have, you know, two 16 by 16s. I can't picture how to do that though. When you bear in mind that you want to be able to write code that's going to spew out every level, not just a tailor-made level. It needs to just be able to look at a tile map. So we need to have a list like this of tiles, and nothing's going to tell it what size the tile is. I suppose we could go over the top and have another value telling it how many tiles it is. Yeah, we're not short of memory. I mean, we could just not use meta tiles. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Not short of memory, but saying that, I don't even know how much memory I have, to be honest. It said something about 1 megabyte of RAM or 2 megabytes. I'm not sure if, you know, how much of that you can use. I would absolutely love to learn how to load levels off the disk. Same with audio. Just stream it off the disk. That would be brilliant. Hmm. Well, this is pushed to GitHub anyway. I'm going to push this one more time because for some reason there's some changes. So I'm going to probably just delete the tile map. We'll keep all the enemies the same in that for now. But we'll just try and draw like try and draw a level map like this, the same width, but using whoops, using these tiles and doing them in a Metatile fashion. Because you think about it, where we got the grave here, one of these, can't remember, but you know, it was just a 4x4 bunch of cells, yeah. And we reused it here, so we can define a Metatile that is just 6, 7, 8, 9, and then just have that Metatile being the tile map. But then, as far as I can tell, they have to all be that size. You can't just mix and match. Also, the next complication with this is we're going to have to, when we fill the tile map data, we've got to do that go down a line thing. So we actually will have to change our code slightly. Let's get rid of it. Not sure why this is here still. So it's hard for me to do this because I keep having to flick between the two to show you what I mean, but bank 10. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Sounds pretty goddamn cool, mate. One day I'll learn all that. Right now I'm still just happy getting any old thing working on this, to be honest. It's all very new to me, this. What I want to do is define the actual Metatiles here, right? So we're going to have to flip between. This is what's annoying here. Right, yeah. So make it longer. Yeah, I will, yeah. But first I'm going to make it the same width, obviously, and get that working. So if I'm happy with the layout of the actual asset, let's just pretend I am. I can't be bothered to worry. There's 32. Download what manual? Next. It's one of them though, isn't it? If I sat there and read every manual, I'd never get any coding done, I don't think. I get like 2 pages into a manual and then I have to go and code. What's the flag for, Micro? Because I think we are using 4-bit tiles, aren't we? I think. Tile attribute. Yeah, I'll have to read up on this in a minute. Because what I'm going to attempt to do is have the tile map on top of layer 2 so that we can finally use layer 2 as an actual background over the tile map. Oh, under the tile map. I do worry this will be a tough session for me. But what I'm trying to do here is, look, it goes from 0 to 31, and then 32 to 63 or whatever it is, etc, etc. So I want to define the first metatile, which is going to be this corner. I'm just trying to think, do I want to label it? Let's just label it for now. This is like the top. You've got to come up with some sort of naming convention so you know what tile's what. I'm sure I'm going about this very goofy. But at least I'm having a go. So anyway, that will be 1, 2, 33, 34. My mind's just bubbling with ideas of it, but I can't quite get them out of my head. I'd love a way to mix and match the tiles, you know. You should be able to group meta tiles, and I've seen in the video he does that, but does he use them all the same size on each screen? I don't know, doesn't seem right. Because of course I'm not going to use these labels. Like, I'm not going to have a map full of corner left, corner right. I'm going to have to number these, or you know, something like that. Oh sugar, what's going on there? Pillar left. Sometimes it slips out. I'm pretty potty mouth sometimes as well. Most of the time. Is it 60? 65. It's quite bloody confusing already. I'd love to be able to have numbers over these grid cells. That'd be absolutely amazing. Hmm. I know this doesn't feel like the right way of doing it whatsoever, but at least I'm getting the data sort of down there. I've done basically them 4, and of course that one. Dush dush, dush dush. It's that one now. Got to use my calculator every time. Come to think about it, how we had the level done before, I'm a bit annoyed I deleted it now because it was all defined bytes. But what happens if you have a tile sheet that has more than 200 tiles? Because like, if you filled this tile sheet up here, it's going to have 768 tiles, isn't it? So surely you'd have to define it as a word. I mean, luckily this won't in this particular instance, but that is plenty, yeah. But if you think about it, 64, yeah? Well, it's had 32 to each. But yeah, anyway. So you said if you use under 128 tiles. So how many rows is that? 128 divided by 32. It's only four rows. Hmm. It's not that many then. To make these chunky graphics like this. Because don't forget, if I lay them out like this, it's going to get all these as well. Tiles defined. You've got to define them still, haven't you? You've still got to define them to get them into here. What a nightmare. I don't understand. 0 to 127, yeah? Of the tile definitions you're talking about, yeah? Where we had the level. We were using the definitions by calling them each in succession, weren't we really? Or laying out a numbered map of them. So you're saying, okay, so we've got way too many tiles then, haven't we? These are kind of copied, but they're reversed. I could lose them. This is out of a SNES. Maybe the SNES had more. I don't know. Maybe it was doing 16 by 16 tiles or something. Right there, a mirror flag. Oh yeah, you can mirror the tiles, of course, can't you? I mean, do you notice though how this is actually slightly different? Because it was in the game, it was like this. That's certainly a copy of that, isn't it? Yeah, strange one, isn't it? It's quite tough to make that. It's cleverly designed. Okay, that changes things. Because if we go over 128, it's going to cause us problems, isn't it? With our existing code. So otherwise we can only go 4 lines. And we've got to miss this first one. First cell. So I think. Let me have a think. We'll just see how far we can get with doing it like this. Cool, doing the solids is going to be a bit of a pain now. They're not going to be in a line anymore. We'll have to look out, try and find out what cell we want to be solid. Because only one row of cells needs to be solid. So we can use mirror, so we'll have to do that then. Why can't I figure this one out? It's strange, this one. Seems like it's an uneven amount of tiles going up. Maybe they do, yeah. I don't really know how to do that though, Micro. But that might be how the SNES did it. Right, so there's the edge. So that's like, we're just gonna have to, it's bloody stupid this, but there's got to be a better way really. But so those two are actually still correct. Then this one's different. Oh. Wait, is it 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. It is. Cool, it's confusing stuff. That's all them done. Tablets are annoying, aren't they? But they're useful as well. What do I want next to that? Perhaps we could keep it simple somehow here. Well, look, that's the edge of the cliff. So we want this next to it really, if somehow. Well, it's really confusing, guys. Hmm. I can't decide what order I want. That's why I keep pausing. What order I want this all stored as. Like, would it have been better to move the brick? I just can't decide. Hmm. I was just about to draw out a plan then, you know. I was just thinking, we look at this. So if I call that A, yeah, that's that one. So far B is that, I guess, and C is that. Hmm. I'm going to rename these. Oh, they can't even be called A. Uh, again, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use labels, but basically, what am I going to call B? This one or this one? Okay, my dude. Yeah, I'm going to keep the tile map quite simple, you're right. But not super duper simple. I'm going to get most of this in there, but like, maybe I'll be happy with just one layer. I'm not too worried about these background bits just now. But I'm having to think right now, like, A, B, C, D so far. E, F. Wait there, I can number them. Because there's going to be 16 across. That'll probably end up making more sense. Call these from banks of memory. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Specky. I think you have to create a binary file for that from the map. And the way Emook did that was exporting it from his art software as a Game Boy Advanced map file and then converting that into a binary somehow. This doesn't sound super easy, but right, I'm just going to do this and get this out of the way because I think when I've done it, it'll make a bit more sense. So this would be tile 0, meta tile 0, and 1, 2, should be up to 15, and this should be 16. The bin files, yeah, yeah. We've already done that with the tile definitions sprite sheet itself, but that was converted to bitmap using Emook's tool, so I wouldn't have got that far without him. I'd have never got that, you know, I'd still been there trying to figure that out. Right, so 0, 1, 2, 17. Like I said, I'm going to keep the artwork super simple right now and just try and do a meta tile scenario. So that's 3, 18. Oh. Then we'd have it mirrored. So we don't need any of that. That's just a mirrored version of that, isn't it? I think. We'll get rid of all of that. We can make do without it for now. In that case, we could probably make do with just what we've got there. That's like to make a pillar. Same as that, isn't it? Pretty much. It's spinny. Why is that green there? I don't really know. But I mean, it's not going to hurt being there, but we're not going to use them right now. But when we export the tile map, I mean, I might as well just put it there just for tidiness. Bit of grass, yeah. Yeah. But what I meant by that statement was, how does it bloody link up with the rest of the tile map? But right. So yes, we've got some blank tiles. Well, we can use them anyway, probably, to make a transparent bit, whatever. So I'll try and use Emook's tool, get this into the game, and then, well, wait there. Yeah, because we're not actually using any of that right now. Just that. But we've now allowed it so we can just go in and add more metatiles in this space. I forget the size of the tiles. I think they're 32 each, aren't they? 32 bytes, so 32 times 128, 4096. So I'm going to have to change the code on the tile map. Oh yeah, first I've got to do the emote conversion. I'll just do that without switching screens. Okay, it's tile 4-bit. Oh, I've got to switch to index. I know I'm on the wrong screen, but oh, I can't remember whether we had to put 256 colours or 16. Oh, what am I doing? Alright, that should be alright. So I'm just saving caveman.bitmap with 16 colours. Hopefully that'll be alright. Then I'm going to drag it into emotes tool here and find it. I don't know where I saved it to. Idiot. Oh yeah, I've got a removable drive, that's where it's gone. Okay, we got it. Excellent. Right, so we've now got caveman, NXP and TIL files. And if I don't use metatiles, we want a level that is how wide was it again? 80, I believe. Oh no, 160. So the size should be here somewhere as well. I probably should have put that in here as a constant. Tile map size, it must be here. Oh, there, look, GG tile size. I'll change that to tile definitions size. We'll leave it in here for now. 4096 is the answer. So we're loading it here into the memory. So forget Metatiles for a minute, and let's forget that rubbish because I'm pretty sure it's wrong anyway. But it's not wrong, but so we need to have 32 height and 120 width, specifying what tile we want to show. I'm just going to look on here again. So I'm just going to loop the two top grass ones over and over again, which is 0, 1, 5, 5, 6. Right. So if I copy paste that, I want 80 of them to start with, so 40 times. I just realised, let's make it 05. 6, 8, 10. 20, 30, 40. I wanted 80, didn't I? Okay. Then I want another one exactly the same. And then I need to duplicate this 31 more times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That width doesn't look right. Oh, it is though. One, 2, 3, 4. That'll be fine. It's only for now. Well, let's tidy that up because it's just annoying, isn't it? That might just work for us. I can't remember if we had to change anything else. I think it has. We've got to sort out the transparency, look. There might be a problem with doing the transparency because we don't know the layer order, and I don't want to get bogged down with that right now. It should be a separate, more simple task to sort that out. So now we've got like a plan of what a platform can look like. We have no meta tiles. I could just make it like this as normal, couldn't I? So I could, you know, really we want sky for most of this, but in fact I'm going to change them all to zeros now. Macros, yeah. I mean, they look pretty cool. It's almost like using like a C style language. You get to put parameters in and stuff, don't you? They do look cool. It's definitely something I need to look at as well eventually. Yeah, so if I wanted to make a platform, I don't know why I got 0 there. I think I've got to add 1 to all that. Oh no, of course, that's just the name of the tile. That's the name, yeah. I named it. It could have been anything. It actually starts from tile 1. Yeah, so I need to add 1 to all of them, don't I? Damn. Oh yeah, they're the same. Right. Hopefully it'll look correct when I eventually get there. No, of course it's not going to look correct. It's going to look totally wrong. Let's have a look at it anyway. It's all over the place. Which is good. I suddenly realised where I went wrong. E3. Yeah, but that's only for the sprites, innit? I don't get to change the colours on the tile map. But I know where you change the transparency colour. We've got it set to black. Black is actually transparent at the moment. It's here. Although, it does say magenta. So I think Gimp's screwed up the bloody pink colour again. I wonder if I change this to GG tiles. Might fix it. Oh, it already is. Wait. What? Annoyingly, I can't be sure now if it's GIMP or this code. Because I've had the same thing with... Oh, look, it's worked. So it is the palette, I think. What's happened is GIMP has made the slightly off-coloured pink. Maybe it'll be alright with GG tiles. No, actually, no, it won't, because it's just... I don't want it to be green. Getting bogged down now. With something I wasn't doing. Where was it? There. This, I believe, is the tile map transparency set to magenta. So that pink on my tile map must not exactly be magenta. That's what my guess is. But unfortunately, I can't go in like I do with the sprites and change it to E3. Unless I look at that in HXD, maybe I could do something with it there, but... I showed it on the video though. The pink I was using was 2550255 in the RGB color scale. But I've had it before. It comes out when my sprite's a funny color. It's like E7 or something. I guess to fix that, I have to find out what exact RGB setting this relates to, or equates to. Global transparency. See, that might have something to do with it. I might as well try that. Put that into the magenta section. No. But let's worry about that another time. I believe the answer to that is fixing my bit workflow, i.e. where I'm exporting from GIMP. The pink I'm believing is just slightly wrong. But yeah, of course, this is in Metatiles. So there's actually 2 by 2 in each one of them. So really it's best if I just make it all zeros again and start again. Not quite sure what, oh, it's getting clipped. We put the clipping on, that's why we're never seeing that one. So to start it in the center a little bit, let's do it here. And like I say, this is Metatiles, so that 4 is actually 8 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. First one's a 1. And if we look here, that's what that number 1 relates to. It's that. So of course I'm not using the Metatiles right now. I'm just trying to see it visually. Make sure it works. And then I'll try the Metatile. Yeah, look. I'll show you that in a second. See this, yeah? Oh, it's changed now, of course, but hang on. Oh, why is it changed? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Oh, no, it has changed. See, that's not even the same though. Why is it different there? That's not the same one as what. There you go. There's the one I used. I would have thought that's how the Spectrum had it. But then for some reason, by the time it gets through the 2 exports, it doesn't always be the same. Like I've had the pink show up before and I've had to change it on the sprites, but sadly I can't do that now, this time. Yeah, so that's actually tile 17. This is tile 2. I know it seems weird right now, but this is going to make a bit more sense in a minute, I think. Well, maybe that's not 17. Yeah, it is. I don't know what that thing below is, but alright. It seems crazy. Well, it's a lot of work initially to get this figured out, I tell you. Of course, it's better to integrate. If you know how to write your own tools and software, you do like Emu can integrate into the art tools using their export function. You could export all this. It's good to see it visually first like this before. I mean, there's no chance I'll be writing them tools just now, but alright, so now it's the 2 one. Which is that. Why is that getting big? And then finally the 18 one will make that 1 column. Oh, no way. It's 100. Weird it didn't get them. I just don't like it being higgledy-piggledy. Finally, let's see if it shows up as expected. Yes, it does. That's good. That's weird how it's... I can't move my character anymore. I can jump though. And he doesn't fall. Something's going on with the code. Left click on the image. Title bar will show you the RGB value of the pixel. Right click. Wait there, what was that? Left click. I don't know, I don't see that. I've just pipetted it. It's definitely that colour at this moment in this file before it gets exported. It's 100%. So anyway, Metatiles. So I've decided I'm going to do groups of 2 by 2. But that's still going to save us a quarter of this space, 3/4 of this space, you know. I'd love to find a way of mixing and matching. If you look at that Caveman Ninja game as well, the tile map only fills the bottom portion of the screen. It doesn't ever fill the entire screen. There must be probably a way of doing that as well. Like, we're going to have to figure that out in a minute. Like right now, I mean, sorry, because it seems quite easy. If we just decided all of our levels were never going to go any higher than that line, we could already, in our code, just skip there in the tile map. You know, we could just go forwards that many lines, then start reading the tile map for this amount of lines. So that would be 16, which would only be 8 metatiles height. So we're going to delete level 1 in a bit and try and use this meta level instead. I've already messed up, just ignore that. There's only going to be less than 100 metatiles, so we can now go down to 00. And of course that represents 2 width. So that's 40. Or is it? God, I'm so confused already. That's 40 metatiles. So we've actually got width of 80 there, haven't we? So all of a sudden we can get away with doing it without doing that little extra line trick. And then, like I say, I'm going to actually start halfway down. I'm going to make sure this is all background at the top half. So that only gives us 8 metatiles of height. Let's just delete that. It's easy enough to make it again. It gets in the way when you don't need it. So we basically, for a test, we want that in here. There we go, that'll do. Of course, it's getting clipped. Just remembered that. So let's just do that. Now it's right on the left edge. We won't even see these. Actually, we will see half of them. That's the annoying thing. We'll see a half of... Only one tile is getting clipped, and they're 2 width, so... Yeah. So we got to find a way to display that, basically, and have it look exactly like what we just saw a minute ago. It could well be in this init tiles that does it. I imagine we could make quite a long level. Good evening, Moz. Good to see you, mate. I'm struggling along here trying to make Metatiles. Plodding along. I'm going to put that back down to the black because I think that's something separate from the tile map. The fact is that magenta is wrong on my export. That's what I'm pretty certain of. But anyway. Can't seem to... There we go. So we'll just do them in order. We've got them in order here, and we'll come up with a map. Obviously, I can see the art image that I make, you know, the actual tile sheet. But we can also come up with a map like this to design a level with just numbers like this. And then if we define them in order, we know how long a tile is. It's 4. You know, metatile size equals 4. And we can iterate through them that way then, you know, if we need to. So we already know some of them, luckily, or 2 of them. Oh, of course, the 0 tile. The 0 tile is something, is a blank. We'll just define it with all blanks. Only 0 is an 8x8 tile, and that's blank. So I guess the first one could just be like that, if we wanted. Probably makes sense, because then we can just do 1 times that to get to this one. Oh, I don't like that, having no space there. Don't know why I'm being stupidly perfectionist with that rubbish today. Anyway, there we go. So unfortunately, I haven't mapped out 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. yet. I'm gonna have to do that now, and I'm suffering with having lots of screens open, so I'll probably have to lose the chat window for a second. I've kind of shrunk it down. So yeah, like I say, we're gonna go across in order with this. That was, oh god, that was tile 01. Yeah, see, so the platform is 0103. And that's 01. And that's tile 03. Just so you know what I'm roughly on about. Because this is just something I'm making up off the top of my head to use in my code. So let's define tile 3 in the code. Tile 3. You can roughly work it out just by looking at the coordinates cut here from the one before. Tile 4. Yeah, as long as we know what tile order it is, as long as we know that that's 1, that's 2, then it should be okay doing like this. It shouldn't be too difficult to design levels. Of course, this is still too basic. Like the levels are very basic. You know, we haven't got enough tiles. But that'll be alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We weren't actually using that yet. That's been, it hasn't been laid out properly. My O key doesn't work, it's so annoying. It works, but not all the time. We can just ignore the other tiles for now and go all the way to 17, which is this one. Let's put a space just to remind ourselves. So we've already got it defined. Here it is. Seventeen, 18, 19, 20 is all we want. 19 and 20. Okay, we've got, what we've got sorted there is all of these. So we've left space to make all these into like some sort of useful meta tiles later. Each tile is 2 by 2 on the 8, so 16 by 16. But I call it 2 by 2. It's just easier for me. Oh. Right. So annoyingly, I wanted to use a simple way of going through them all. So I'll probably have to make these So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. See, now I can just do x times this equals the tile I want. I'm not sure whether I'll need to do that or not, but I feel like I probably will. So as we can see, like I say, this times that would equal this. But the problem is I've got 2 by 2 there, yeah? Then I want to go down a line. Our existing code just bangs them in. It takes it from here and puts it into the memory. But now we've got to look at this, say, oh, okay, we want 2 from this. Then we want to go down 2 in the memory. Then we want to go back where we were to read the next part of the map. And I can't think of any way around that. I think you just have to code around it. As far as I know, that's the whole point of having a meta tile, isn't it? The only way around it that I can think of is if you make all your tiles purely in line form, you know, so you could group 4 in a line. But you know, that might be good for the gorillas game, you know, because your skyscrapers are actually quite that shape, you know, and you could have windows and stuff. As soon as you have to go down one line with your tile, as far as I can tell, you're going to have to do that. It's not that complicated to do, is it? It's just adding the world width and then taking away the world width to go back, but minus 2 probably. But this could get messy and I could easily fail here because this is the bit where we're going to have to change. The palette's fine. Let's load in the tile definitions. It's this bit here, view draw. Interesting how we're doing a line in a whole go there. This is most certainly where it gets complicated. In my mind, I've been thinking about this on and off for the last couple of days, and I come up with some quite simple concept, but I knew this would be the tricky bit, the only tricky bit really. But I'm sure it's doable. What I'm trying to avoid just by having this pause is to not not overdo something and make it a bit too stupid where it doesn't need to be. So I'm just going to have a quick pause, roll myself a smoke here, have a think, and I'll be back in the mo. So the way I'm thinking right now, off the top of my head, is to just do 2 lines at a time. That would make my life simple, but I don't like that solution in the fact that if you make a meta tile that is 4x4 all of a sudden, you have to come and rewrite this. Maybe that's not too much of a big deal though. The reason I wanted to do 2 lines in one is I could do the line in one, take when I know I'm in the top line, just take the first 2 from each element of the meta tiles, and then when I'm in the second one, take the latter 2. So that sounds easy to me, and also we can do this add in world width quite easily, you know, separately if needed. I don't even know if we need to separate. They're probably the same each time, come to think of it. I forget what that compare 4-5 is doing. Oh, it's just checking the top of the tile memory, tile screen memory. I'm just trying to think here. Like, where do I want to start from to start halfway down? Because I think 4-5 is the very topmost. But I do want to do that. I don't want to use the tile map for the top half of the screen. We can just use the background and sprites, and that's it, nothing else. Like maybe eventually we'll use 3/4 of the screen or something, but I certainly think we don't need to use the whole thing. I think half sounds perfectly simple. Well, I thought that at first, but when I was thinking this was 4 to 6, but it's actually 4 to 45, 40 to 45. But you don't really want to do that. Well, it's certainly not that, is it? But it's just how I think. So that's that amounts to 2056 or something like that. 2048, sorry. The difference, I mean. So, I mean, I could add, if I was doing decimal now, I could do it much easier. So 280. I think it's there. That'll start me halfway down. Hopefully I'm not being completely thick. Heck, still, after all the years of using it, still just does my head in sometimes with dividing it by 2 and stuff. View width is never going to change. We're always going to need to do that. First, it was just going at our level and just going one by one through them. It's going to be much more complicated now, isn't it? It's going to be looking at meta level. And going through each one there and then having to find the corresponding tile rather than just going through and finding the tile immediately. So I don't think we can use LDIR anymore. Because that's just a mass copy, isn't it? Like a bulk. It'll just go through in order copying. What a git. It's going to certainly make the scrolling a lot more tricky as well. Oh god, we had a power surge there. I think we might need to rewrite this. Let's put that back to level 1. So we can fall back to it if Metatiles become too annoying. Draw meta. And let's pseudocode it again for a bit. So we want to iterate through meta map, meta level, whatever we call it. Inside that iteration, through that, for each element, we want to then LDIR we probably want to do all 4. So we'll start from that memory there, for example. In fact, let's start it from 4000, right? And it's only going to fill the top half of the screen instead of the bottom half. It doesn't even matter where I put that anyway, so I'm glad I put that back. So it probably isn't even worth using LDIR, seriously, because we'll have to do 2 in a row, then skip down a line. So for each element, wait. Right, finally. Let me think about this. So obviously we're in the screen memory at the time, yeah? Well, there's 2 options. I'm stuck between the 2. One is to get the top 2 only. But then we'd have to go through twice the same line. Does that make sense? So we'd go through this line once, do all the top ones, then we'd skip down a screen line, and we'd go through the very same line of the meta map, but this time checking the second. I think that makes sense, actually. That was my second idea, but the thing is, as you step through the map, you'd still have to go back to this point. Whereas if you get all 4 at once, you wouldn't have to do that. But you would have to mess around with where you are in the screen every time. I think I liked my first suggestion that I just said, which was my second thought. So we iterate through meta level line, get top 2, or put top 2 to screen, iterate through same line again, put latter 2 to screen. At that point, we wouldn't have to skip forward here. We could just continue forward. And we could also just continue on the screen memory continually. I think that's going to work out best. Let's move up here. So load HL meta level. I'll try it there. Hopefully it doesn't cause us problems. So now we're going to draw line 1. Or do I? Let's just call it draw line a second. We'll just do two iterations of that line. So we can't just take from HL and put it into DE. We need some sort of routine to convert this into that. Let's do it without a routine first and see if it looks tidy enough in here. So we'll just try loading a meta level. I just realised earlier I said about this, and I said, oh, it's as simple as doing that times that equals this, yeah? And I forgot, only the next has multiply. Luckily we do have it. But perhaps I won't use it. We'll just know that there's 4. So this needs to be times by 4. It's still a problem though, because if I want to do, for example, IX, you still need a constant, so you can't do that. But You can use add HLA as well with the next. This might come in very handy. Well, it's tricky coming up with a routine for this. Maybe I should use the mob. This is going to be very tricky, guys. Delete that a sec. For 0, of course, it's very easy. It needs to be able to look at that value and times that by 4 and go through that many of this. Maybe I have to use shadow registers or something. Because I'm kind of thinking like, well, I guess IX wouldn't hurt. And that'd probably be done up here, actually. Yeah, mate, that's killed me before. Even in Unity, where you can just do multiply by delta time and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a right headache. It's got something to do with pi r squared, I think. Some sort of how you calculate a circumference or something. And then you times it by time somehow. I can't remember how to do it myself either. It's a headache, like you say. That's the sort of one, if you write an intelligent question on Stack Exchange about that, you'll have some smart ass come along there and explain it to you. So again, I'm going to have to do more pseudocode in here. Because my brain is too thick. If I call IX the pointer to the correct tile, and then how do I find that? Using this being L, ML. ML times 4. If this values are called ML. TS, tile size. Current tile, current meta tile equals 1 times 4. Yeah. It's quite straightforward then. And we actually know that this is a constant 4. Why can't my brain figure this out? It's like on the tip of my brain again. It's one of them things where I've got like 3 different solutions, and I know one of them's quite straightforward. Because you can go straight through it and then just skip back, go through that line again on the map, but not on the screen. Keep going. And then you would have done 2 rows. Each one of these is 2 bits of screen cell, and then another 2 when you go through it again. The tricky bit is having to get the 2, and that's where that comes in. So we will want to keep loading it for simplicity. So even when it's 0, point it at that, and we'll add. We're going to need to keep. We're going to have to like do something with DE so we can use the mul. Gonna have to watch out because we're using DE twice there. DE equals that. Like I say, I know it's 4 already, so I shouldn't need to use the mul. I could just use add, can't I? Add them together. Pretty sure you can only use HL to add though. I could have used IX. That's good actually, I can use IX. Oh, it's such a pain. Oh god, it's a right pain. I think I'll use IX for the meta level. HL for metatiles. Then I can load A IX. I just want to multiply A by 4, so I'm just going to do add AA twice. So finally we're at the right amount. Because luckily we can do add HLA. So at this point, we actually want to put the 2 into the screen. I can't remember if we can do that or not. Gosh, literally, my brain's dead. Let me check that. I don't think we can. Oops. Nah. So we'll have to load AHL. I think that's right. LU. Oh wow, that's clever, Moz. I've heard about the calculator stack, but I didn't really think of what it was. So I've put this at the Metatiles. I've got the value in here into A, times it by 4, added that to Metatiles. Then into A, I've took the first one of them and finally put it into the screen. I then want to inc HL inc DE. And do the same thing. So that's the first 2. Then I've got to go back an entire line on the when we get to the end of this Metatiles. So I probably do want to call that draw line 1. That's like iteration 1. Pass 1 or whatever. Obviously this is just doing 1 tile. God, this is tricky. Yes. So all the while we've got inc IX by 2, I believe. Well, I'm never sure with the IX because it is a 16-bit register. So it might only need 1 actually. Now, we could just jump back to that. But we have to come up with, we have to figure out now when it gets to the end of a meta line. Of course, we know that that's half of the width of the level. So the level being 160, so there's 80 meta tiles in a line. We're going to have to somehow come up with the loop here to test it. It looks like we're not using B at all there. We could just decrease B, couldn't we? Maybe. So we want to deck B. In fact, we can just use DJNZ, can't we? The Commodore logo. Gotta get into doing some Commodore, man. I saw on YouTube that Mike Daly had made Wolfenstein on the Commodore. I only just noticed that. He also made it for the Next recently. I haven't used DJNZ in so long, I don't know if that's even how you do it. I better quickly look it up, make sure it's not wrong. I think it just decreases B. Jumps to a label if not 0. Good. Easy peasy. So now that is really a draw line, I guess. Draw line 1. So it's gone through them, taken the first 2 from each meta tile, put it into the DE, incrementing as it goes. We actually then want to put IX back all that way. Because we could just load it again, but that's only going to work for the first line, isn't it? So we want to go back. I have to look up sub now, whether we can sub. Damn, here's the problem then. Damn. How do we go back? Unless we somehow record what line we're on and then always go back to here and go forward a certain amount of lines. But damn. Damn, that's a worry. Because I can't just deck IX 180 times. I suppose I could. With a loop. I wish I didn't bloody use IX now. This is 100% sure that it's goofy, but I'm doing it anyway. Right. This is one of the longest routines I've ever written, I think, other than the double buffering. Just one line. Then we go back to the start of that line. We actually pretty much want to do the same thing again, but not quite. Yo, thanks, Microman. Got the sound through my TV. I thought it was broken. Thank you very much for that, my dude. Right, so once again we go through the line, we get that number, times it by 4 to get to the right one, but this time we do want to ink HL twice before we start. And now the same thing goes through that. So now we've successfully done like one line of Metatiles as far as I could tell. Perhaps I could even put one Metatile in there and just try it, but I think I've done it without having to push and pop anything or anything. So it's now on the second line without having to do anything. Like, you don't have to increment or anything. We basically want to go back to here and do that. Let's do height. So we somehow have to do this. We had to turn this into a loop. This whole thing. And that loop has to be... I mean, funnily enough, C is not used at all. I could just use C. I was thinking of using B again and just push pop in, but... So, view draw meta. Draw view's a bit of a stupid name actually, because this is like when it's filling the first time. It's not like an every frame thing. It's more like an initialization, but let's just keep it like that. View draw meta. View draw screen. And here is where we want to. Let's try it with C. Why not? Don't think we've touched C. So after we've done them lines, we want to dex C, load AC, compare 0. Do we want to deck it afterwards? We want it to do 8 times. I guess we could just load C0, ink C. I mean, that's insane if this works. I've just written some insane stuff here. My mind's blown from this. Easy peasy. I hope so. I hope so. I guess all I've got to do is, instead of calling draw view draw, it's just view draw meta. Let's comment out view draw. Well, it says naught references there anyway. I was going to say just in case it's getting called from somewhere else. Oh, loads of errors. Player.asm. I didn't even think I changed that. So we've obviously referenced the level. Oh dear. Of course, the collision and scrolling is going to be completely broken now. So unfortunately, basically all this needs changing. It's probably going to create more errors. I'll have to comment out the calls. Let's do that so I see it. There's a few more. Alright, what else is there going to be? Level manager.asm. The scrolling, like I said. Let's just It may let us load it now. Yeah. Oh, it hasn't worked. Of course the collision didn't work, we knew that. But oh, maybe it has worked, look. Other than that green stuff. But the tiles are showing up. Although they don't look correct. Wonder what's happening there then. Let's try starting it from 4,000 just to see what we get in the top left corner. Yeah, they're all zeros the first line because I was going to say it's getting clipped at the side. Yeah, the collision's gone. There's no collision detection. Okay, they are showing up correctly. Or they're at least showing up where I expect them to be. I don't know why there's a green one at the bottom. But that could just be me. I could have written down these numbers wrong. What's more of a worry is why we're getting this green stuff. I believe that was working okay. Starting us halfway down the screen. I guess there's one way to know here. Change all them to ones. And in fact, after that, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why these are all wrong. No, they're not. No, they're not. Wait. No, where I got confused then was, let me show you back on the art again. Zero. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is not used. Forget them for now. But actually on the code that was correct. I haven't used 5. So this is, I thought was 17, but it's not, is it? It's 16. We better count just to be sure, because I think that's where I've gone wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Does it count this as 16? It should be 6. I've got 17 already, so it's definitely wrong what I done. If you look here, I've got 17. It should be 16. And therefore, that should be 17. I guess 18 is probably right. Oh yeah, that should be 18. That's more like it. Mm. Yeah, that should work. So in other words, let's put a load of them in. I'm just going to hope these are right. I haven't checked these. Hmm. Probably not right then. These. The good point, the good part about this is once it's done, it's done. You know. It'd be very nice to have some tools that were built specially for doing this. You'd pretty much have to build them yourself. There's probably things out there you could work with and then make your code specific to how their output is. What I was expecting to see there is a load of um, a load of them. Tile 3. What do we actually see again? We're seeing it repeat in the left sort of cliff bit, aren't we? How does that compare to what's on there? It's weird. It doesn't compare exactly with the graphics. Ah. Are we seeing that many tiles? Not so sure. We're meant to be seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawn in row in columns. No, it looks like 3, doesn't it? So it's something to do with. when it's going back past it maybe, or if not, maybe just when I ink. The screen is DE. Inked it here. Oh, we haven't inked it here. We want to ink HL and DE there, I think. And then probably the same again. Down here. Oh dear. Okay, that looks like it's going forward too many lines. The whole line at a time. I don't know what that stuff... Oh, that's the stuff that I've put at the top, isn't it? Which is odd that it looks like that. To be honest. What the hell? I find that weird. That cliff bit up there. Very, very weird. So... what's happening here? Ah. Yes, we don't want to ink HL. After we do want to do it here. It doesn't actually matter that we do it there, to be honest. Or maybe it does. Nah, because we load it right there, so it didn't really make any difference. This is tricky. So IX is pointing at the map of tiles. It reads from that, times that value by 4, loads that into HL. Why is it adding? Oh yeah, adding to the HL pointer, which is pointing at the actual tile data for each meta tile. Then we get the first byte of data from the meta tile, put it into DE, move to the next one. Seems fine to me. Don't need that. DE. So we still move to the next cell in the screen. Perhaps it is just one time on IX because it's a 16-bit register. IX was only pointing at the map data. I suppose that might actually do it though, yeah. Oh god. I'd say... Oh, then again, that does look correct. That top bit now. If you look at the artwork again, if I can ever get to it, right there. Yeah, that actually does match up now with the first 4 metatiles, but only the top part of it. The rest of it's getting completely screwed over. So we're getting there, but it's real slow. So it seems this line works one time now. Ink IX. IX is pointing at the level. Let's just try it twice again and see if that makes it F up. I've got a feeling it might be only once with IX. Yeah, that looks completely buggered now. Oops. I apologise. So I'm pretty convinced it's just one time for IX. And that's moving us through the map here. Ah, of course. We only want to do that after line 2. Because that's the second pass of the line. IX. Yeah, deck IX. Oh no, I'm being dumb. We do need it. Alright. Take another look at it. So yeah, it's losing a lot of lines there, isn't it now? But it is showing what it should be showing for that top row of the map at least. But even that's not correct. This is tricky. I hope I'm not reusing one of the things. Could it be this? You draw a line. Because it draws the first line and then it seems the second one gets skipped too far in the screen, which is DE. Either that or it's getting a load of 0 tiles. So inks IX one time. And that keeps going back, so it's 80 times. And it goes back 80 times. Does it again? It should work, shouldn't it? Load AIX. Is it definitely not doing? No, it's definitely not. Yeah. So line 2 is a confusing name, but what that means is pass 2 of the same row in the metatiles, but line 2 on the screen. Hmm. Why am I ink HL twice there? Oh yeah. That's just to move it to the correct metatile cell or value or whatever you want to call it. Element. It should work, man. What's wrong with that? I mean, for example, if I remove this ink, it's just going to draw on the same cell over and over, isn't it? Oh, there's another ink there. Huh. No, that's not right. Surely it's not right now. Nah, see, it never inks at all. So it's in that first cell that's getting clipped. Stay in there. So yeah, that's the closest I've got so far. It's like it thinks the level width is too far or something. It's going too far when it skips. Ooh. I believe this works fine because it's moving IX, which is where it gets the map data, and you can see that that second line is getting the right map data. It's just drawn in the wrong place on the screen. I'm not quite sure why, because this just gets inked. I don't skip forward by a whole bunch or anything. Yeah. Very odd. Ah, I haven't got anything to end this. Oh yes, I have. It does it a certain amount of times. Hmm. It's a shame to end it on such a low note. Got another like 20, 30 minutes to try and figure it out. But I could crack the breakpoints out, but I can't see them helping me a lot. Could watch what DE was doing, but you can sort of see what it's doing if you look. Hang on. Hang on. That's what it is. That's what's making it more complicated than I've got it here. We can only do view width. Is it just simple as changing that to view width? I think it might be. This can't be right. Let's try it anyway. It's quite closer, look. Is it the second view width here? Bloody Metatiles. Don't know why. Don't know why I thought I could do it. It's kind of close. Sure, I'd need to ink DE after doing it, wouldn't I? Otherwise, you're just going to overwrite whatever you've done before. Perhaps not on the last one. This is never gonna. I'll be dead if this fixes it. Nah, that's buggered it. So that proves that was pretty much right. But this one line, it's going down too far. View it 40. Ah, of course it's Metatiles now as well. Let's have a view width meta. Why not height as well? Oh, although, nah, don't need it. Well, hey, I don't know why we can't see the bottom stuff though. But that's exactly what I wanted to see on the top. So now it must be a case of when it goes to the next line, because this line 1, line 2. I should stop calling this line A or something, because it's not line 1. Let's call it first run, first pass. Second pass. So they're working, but they're not. That's only one row of metatiles, isn't it? Although it's 2 rows of tiles. So let's try seeing. Well, let's do the exact same tiles solid for now and see how they look right underneath. See, look, they're meant to be right underneath. So some other buggered stuff is here. Hmm. That's insane. Height. I just want to see that, but I can't see that doing anything. Oh, we didn't even get them now. No, I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I've made quite a bit of progress here, but I'm not sure I'm going to beat this final bit of the puzzle. They're supposed to be right over the top of each other. There's definitely 2 problems with it, because it never gets to this end bit of the map. It's not even showing us that. Yeah, so it does that top. That's exactly as it should look, that first row. From metas. Then after that, it's completely screwed. Some of that might be to do with my calculation of the tile IDs. But still, we should be able to see them. Yeah, they just should be right on top of each other then. So DE is moving the screen. And we only load it there. And we just ink it each time. Not quite sure why when it goes all the way back to here, why would it We haven't done anything there. DE still the same. Yet it seems to skip forward for miles. Ah. So we got the view width down. But that's only doing half of the line of the tiles. Like it's doing 20 of them, and then it just goes on to the next 20 and the next 20 until it gets to here again. That's why there's a gap. Damn it. At least I know what's going wrong now. But we might need to use another register somehow, because we've got to know. It's when we get to the end of the second pass. Yeah, that's how we do it. So IX. Once we get to the very end, we can load. We're going to need to waste a thing here. We'll push DE. Pop it here. Load DE with world width. No, I've called it level this time. Level width meta. Take away view width meta. Add IXDE. Try that. Yeah, it's getting a lot better now. In fact, that's perfect now. Except for that one missing one for some reason. Your stuff, nearly nap time. Wine time. Wine time sounds good, man. You might as well enjoy the, you know, lockdown. And the ability to just sit back and kick back with some wine. And don't overdo it. Bit of coding. It's like the best clean alternative, isn't it? You know. I believe I've just sussed it right there and then with doing that. So the only thing that's weird now is one of these tiles, 17, is wrong. Pretty sure. Came out blank. Let's have another look at it. Only came out blank once. It's very odd that. Let's move it down to the bottom of the screen now, where I wanted it to start with. It's weird, that missing one. Of course, I'm definitely not going to be fixing the collision tonight, because that worked on having that level map that I had before. We'd have to do something similar with the to break it down to get to this. We're going to have to be able to peak, come up with a peak routine to peak a metatile. And then we can probably rewrite this, to be honest. It'll probably look a lot like this though, the peak. What are they doing? Okay, that'll be alright. We won't be doing the mirror bit just now, because I have no clue how to do that with using these IDs. Still missing that one tile. It's the 16, isn't it? Look. Right. So 17 was correct. So I guess all the others are wrong. That's more like it. We finally got somewhere. Tomorrow I'll be looking at doing layer 2. So I'll put this background here. I'll create a slightly better one, of course. I'm not going to spend all day doing it, but get this background in there as a sort of, it'll just pan, like it'll be that sort of this big, and it'll pan, you know, just slowly like that. So yeah, that'll be something to do, and that'll make it look a lot better. And then now we have, that's using Metatiles, you know, now we've got to sort out the collision. Doesn't look like much right now, but I could much more easier now make a level. It takes a lot of work getting your tiles laid out though, and knowing what values to put in here and stuff. Like these are all wrong. You can easily mess these up. If you're thick like me, you can anyway. But now at least I know that's right. I'm not liking the mirror thing. Like if I put, that's what I want to do. But how do you write that into our you know, if I want to put it here, how can I tell that it's a mirror? I mean, one way that I've immediately thought of is to add, let's say, 64 to this or something. And then we know if it's over 64 or over 128, whatever the tiles are, the max tiles, then we reduce it by 64 or 128. Let's say. Yeah, so that's what we'd have is we'd have a constant for tiles count equals 128, yeah. And then if I want to use one mirrored, I'd just do 129 or 1 plus 128. Same with that. So I'd know when I get one that's over 128, I'd have it in my code to just take it into A, then reduce it by 128, and then put it onto the screen, mirrored. I guess that's going to be a way of doing that. Boo, let's put this back for now. I don't like having it there, it just makes it look stupid. In fact, not sure how much of the screen that's going to fill up, probably all of it. Nearly. They've dropped him off in the wrong place. He's dead. Yeah, so that's quite a long video. I'll probably wind it up just to have a quick chat, or if anyone's here still. I do want to bloody figure out that transparency thing on my tile exports. I'm sure that's the export that's wrong. That pink is not registering as magenta, to put it simply. Bloody annoying if that's the case, because I don't know, you know, I love using GIMP. Can make some quick progress in that program. But you can imagine once we've got the layer 2 in there, it's going to already look pretty good. Obviously collision's a massive one now to do, and the scroll. I'm stuck in the middle now. We'll have to change that sprite as well, sadly. I like the sprite, but probably rob the caveman. He looks a little bit more, he stands out a bit more against that background. The bugger right now is that bloody pink not being proper on my tile sheet. I guess I might be able to, well, I don't know what to do about that really. I really don't. Oh well, it's been another good session in the end. I don't know how I pulled it off, but I have one last look at this bugger. Where's them cut pumpkins? I have them on the top row. Like the UI now. Yeah, I think I'll quit while I'm ahead on that. We've successfully looked at Metatiles there, just about. I believe there's no problems with that now. It will run, and we can add loads of Metatiles in. We've got space in our map for quite a few more Metatiles. And you basically just list them in. There's the spaces, look, I've actually left space for them. I think we've got a few spaces afterwards as well. Don't really need that yet, I might as well delete it. I can't figure out exactly how many we get. I know it's more than that though, we get slightly more than that. It's real easy really. You create a tile, you know, you note down what it is here and how it's going to look, and you find it on your map in your image and just write down the cells that it's in linearly, and then you just create your map for the Metatiles here. It's quite convenient having them in 4x4 as well, in 2x2. Quite a convenient size, I think, once you get used to it. In fact, the only thing that's made this session not a success is that bloody pink. Because if I tried to load the layer 2, I believe the pink would just overlay that. It needs to be set as transparent. I could get around that by doing black as transparent, but then I'd lose that black stuff that's on the grass, which I don't want to do. So that's a bugger thing to figure out. But it's still a success. We've done the Metatiles. Someone will help us hopefully with the transparency. That's if I don't figure it out myself. Maybe I can just export the image to another piece of software first. Not sure what, or I could at least try it with black to make sure it is the output. Let's change it to black. In fact, I could probably do that now. Nah, I'll do it tomorrow. Hope to see you soon, guys. Don't be surprised if I'm doing a bit of gaming in the day, because I've got a day off, so maybe not. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you very much for the bits and the comments. Massive help to me. See you again soon, guys. Bye bye.